What's going on, everyone? So Los Angeles Lakers landed their starting center via buyout. Why not go get your backup via buyout? So obviously the Lakers landed Deandre Ayton as their starter and could use a higher upgrade backup, in my opinion, right? You have Jackson Hayes. It would be nice to get somebody that, just a little more trustworthy, where Jackson Hayes, I think, is continuing to grow, develop, and one of those players that could be on the market via buyout would be Nikola Vucevic, who Lakers have had interest in the past, but the Chicago Bulls have not been able to find a trade for Vucevic. He is kind of growing anxious and wants to get out because he wants to go to a contender and try to win before, the end of his career. I mean, he's already 34 years old. He'll be 35 to start next season. So he would prefer to kind of go elsewhere. So if they can come to an agreement via buyout, I don't hate the idea of it for the Lakers, right? Now, a couple things. One, I want to be clear that they haven't negotiated, they haven't started the buyouts. This just was reported by Signery that, hey, he's growing kind of anxious, and unless they're able to find a way to trade him, which is unlikely because they've been trying to trade him for a year and a half now, that they're probably going to, at some point this offseason, come to a buyout agreement, which if he was to hit the market and he was to be bought out, I would love it. Now, a couple things. One, does he want to be a starter somewhere? Which, where is that? Maybe like Indiana, but is Indiana going to be a contender? Because he wants to go to a place where he has a chance to win. Right? Most championship contenders have a center. Maybe the Golden State Warriors. Warriors actually were interested in conversations based on reports for Nikola Vucevic. So if they don't land a center, could they maybe go and look to Nikola Vucevic? Obviously, Indiana, they want and could use a center, even if it's just kind of a stopgap center. So maybe Nikola Vucevic would be willing to go there. But without Tyrese Halliburton, that team's probably not winning anything. So I'd imagine you'd want to go somewhere else. Lakers, think make a ton of sense, right? I mean, he has connections to LA from college and all that. So he's a guy that I could see maybe the Lakers picking up in a backup role. I mean, the Lakers want a Al Horford, which, look, don't get me wrong, Al Horford, I like him better defensively, but Nikola Vucevic is a better rebounder. He's as good, if not arguably a better floor spacer, around the basket scorer. Nikola Vucevic is better all around. Al Horford is solid, don't get me wrong, but at this stage of both guys' careers, Nikola Vucevic is just a bigger guy. And he's a guy that, you could start and still have a true 7-footer, right? You kind of don't really have a ton of defense with Ayton. Not going to really have a ton of defense with Nikola Vucevic. Now, you could argue, obviously, it would be nice to get a kind of backup center that is better equipped defensively, but who is that out there? I mean, even Nick Richards isn't this super elite defensive backup center, right? He's a guy that can, block some shots, but so can Nikola Vucevic. Right? At this point, with the center position, you're just trying to get the best talent possible to give you the best chance at the center position. Talking about a guy like Nikola Vucevic who, again, he's a guy that go get you 20 points, grab 12 rebounds, and dish out 5 assists on a regular basis. He's a guy that can do multiple things, spread the floor, and the Lakers really like the idea of kind of that floor spacing big. So you'd have that kind of lob threat in Deandre Ayton and Jackson Hayes, and then go get that kind of floor spacer in Al Horford. But if you can get Nikola Vucevic, I'd rather have Vucevic. I mean, he's 4 years younger, right? He's better at this stage of their careers. Obviously, again, defensively is a bit of a concern and issue, but I think you can kind of get past that. If Ayton and Nikola Vucevic is your starter and backup, pretty good, starting big man unit. I mean, you're talking about 2 guys that could still realistically start. But again, is Vucevic willing to come off the bench, or does he want to go somewhere? But if he wants to go to any contender and he wants to win, he's probably coming off the bench on any of those teams. Now, look, keep in mind teams like Denver. That's another potential destination where he could end up going, right? Denver traded for Jonas Valanciunas, and it looks like he might retire and end up going overseas. So, would they maybe go bring in a Nikola Vucevic, which, if I'm not going to lie, if I was Vucevic, that might be as good, if not better of an option, right? So, it just kind of depends. Also, you could argue, Nikola Vucevic would probably play more minutes and probably start more games for the Lakers than he would than Denver, though. right? Because, I mean, Deandre Ayton, there's still questions about, how many games can he play? Is he only going to give you 50 games? One of the best things about Nikola Vucevic is he's like Mr. Iron Man. The guy plays, best ability is availability. Nikola Vucevic is a guy that is regularly and usually always available. Right? He might miss a few games here and there, but for the most part, he's giving you, 75 to 82 games a season, which would be great. And especially in that backup role, you can kind of have Ayton and Vucevic, maybe even at times kind of experiment with it because Vucevic's ability to spread the floor and knock down the three ball, maybe kind of have a look like, what does it look like with both of them out there? I mean, again, you never know. That's what the regular season's for, especially early in the regular season. Why not throw out both bigs and just kind of gauge and see, like, is this something? Is this nothing? But what can he provide? What did he look like last season? Now, he was like having like a all-time career year earlier in the season. The guy was shooting the absolute lights out. I think at one point he was shooting nearly like 50% from three-point range. I think it was like 47.5% or something like that, or like through like 40 games, right? And was just a monster. And then kind of started to cool down towards the end of the season, right? So look, like if he could just give you the production he's done his entire career. I mean, I'm not expecting him to be, because he's a career 17-11 guy. I'm not expecting him to be 17-11 off the bench, but can he be half of that? Right? Could he be, maybe 10-6, right? 10-8 off the bench, something like somewhere in that range. I mean, that would be fantastic. And Nikola Vucevic is the kind of like LeBron center you want. Like Ayton is kind of the best of both worlds because he can, knock down the 15-footer and, a little beyond. Not a guy you really want taking a bunch of threes, but he can kind of knock down in the deep mid-range. But Nikola Vucevic is a guy that can actually spread the floor and knock down the three ball with some consistency. I mean, this is a guy that's a career 35% three-point shooter, but last year was 40%. He's had multiple, 40, high 30s to 40% seasons, where you'd be playing alongside Luka Doncic, you'd be playing alongside LeBron James. The quality of looks you'd get would be, unlike anything he's probably ever had in his career. So that's an argument to be made there as well, as like, just the quality of looks that he'd get, his ability to rebound, offensive rebound, all that stuff. I think he'd be a great addition, especially on a vet minimum contract, because that's probably what you're signing him to. Right? Like, again, which backup would be better than Nikola Vucevic? There isn't one. Right? Like, again, maybe you could get a better defensive backup, but you're not going to get a better all-around backup than Nikola Vucevic. You talk about a guy literally last season averaged almost 19 points, 10 rebounds, 3.5 assists, a steal, and a block. Right? Like, you're not going to get better than that in the backup role. Right? So if the Lakers, like if he does end up getting bought out and the Lakers can sign him, I am all for it. Right? Because again, like, Lakers need defense, without a doubt. And I'm sure there's probably already comments on the video, we're 8 minutes in, so I'm sure there's already comments that are like, oh, it's the Lakers just giving up on defense. Lakers are going to be looking for the defensive side of things after you get Ayton, right? You're looking for the defensive side of things out on the perimeter. Right? Like, that's what you're looking to do. You're Deandre Ayton isn't this like lockdown defensive piece. Right? He has his moments, he has his stretches. If he's bought in, maybe, right? But he's not going to be like Anthony Davis elite. But if he's bought in, he can be at least good to serviceable defensive player, right? So you're like, as far as like where you're looking for your defense to come from is going to have to be out on the perimeter. An Andrew Wiggins, can you get a DeAnthony Melton? Can you get all these guys, right? So to me, I'm not really worried about the Lakers landing another center that is not a defensive savant, right? That is more of an offensive versatile savant, because that's what you're leaning into anyway. So you might as well embrace it, be the best have the best offensive center group in all of basketball, and then go and end up, trying to carve out your perimeter depth and get, 2 or 3 3-and-D guys out on the perimeter. And now you're just in that shape to where it's like, okay, now your defense is coming from, perimeter defense. But what did he provide? Like I said, he's Mr. Reliable. He played 73 games last year. Some of those games are just because he got hurt and they were kind of like, take your time. But 73 games, 76 games, 82 games, 73 games, and then 70 games, right? Like, the guy plays, right? You don't have to worry. He's giving you at least bare minimum. He's giving you 73 games a season, at least the last, 5-6 years. But 73 games played, 72 games started, 31.2 minutes per game, 14.2 field goal attempts per game, 53% from the field, 4.43 attempts per game at 40%, 2-point range, 9.8 attempts, shot 58.7% from 2-point range, EFG of 59.2% from the free throw line. He's always been, that's one of the things about him too, he's always been a great free throw shooter. Right, so it'd be nice to have bigs, multiple bigs that are good free throw shooters. So at the end of games, you could trust them to be out there. But he shot 80, almost 81% on 2 attempts from the free throw line, 10.1 rebounds, including 2.5 offensive rebounds, 3.5 assists, a steal, a block, and 18.5 points per game. So again, like I said, I don't expect him to be a 19 and 10 guy off the bench, but can he be half of that, right? Can he be 8.5 points and 8 rebounds or, 5 rebounds at worst? I think he'd probably be closer to double digits still, just because of his versatility offensively. You can run plays through him, right? He's a guy that can make plays out of the post, right? And so DeAndre, one of the things that DeAndre Ayton isn't good at is back to the basket offense, right? Not super great at it. Nikola Vucevic is. So when Ayton's on the bench, you can throw Vu and you can dump it down to him and he can go to work, right? Especially against teams that are maybe smaller or you have the mismatch against, right? Team like the Warriors, right? Like you could just run some offense, run a steady dose of Vu down on the block, posting dudes up and just scoring around the rim. You got some 6'8" guy on him, like he's cooking that all day. So anyways, always, this is a discussion, pass question to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. Enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one.